So let's delve into this Corvair head job. So what we're doing here is we are going to open up these bores where the individual cylinders fit in here on a Corvair engine. This is a early head, so the diameter here is a little bit smaller than the diameter of the later model cylinders. You can see here that when you put this down on top, it doesn't go in. Now it only needs to be machined about 50 thousandths of an inch, which is not that much. Take it in just a few passes, so it's really not that big of a deal as far as the machining. But since it needs to be centered on this hole, we're going to have to use an indicator to find the center of each hole as we go, and just re-zero on each center. And one more thing, the surface down in here actually has a copper ring that is placed inside the surface for the head gasket. So that's your head gasket on a Corvair. There's actually nothing that holds the compression that sits on the surface here, just that ring in there. So it's critical that that bottom here matches the bottom on every cylinder so that you can get a nice tight seal when this cylinder is compressed between the block and the head. So this is the third set I've done for this man, and he wants me to, like every set a stop when I get to the bottom and just basically barely retouch this surface just to make it flat, and set that stop so that when I go to the next hole, it will be exactly the same as this hole. Now, to hold this down, luckily, this surface here, where the valve cover mounts, is actually parallel with the bottom of the head and the inside here. So I was able to use some parallels on this surface here and bolt the head down to that, which is now parallel to the table. So we should be just about ready to clean the inside of these bores, get any kind of debris out of the way, and set up the indicator and get these things found on center. So we're going to start with this hole right here. We're going to put in a coaxial indicator, which we have right here. Now this is just an eBay one, but it works fine. Now, there's plenty of discussion on the internet as to what speed you need to run one of these. I think the manufacturer specs on this particular one is 35 RPM, but there's been plenty of times I've seen them run faster and they, sure enough, explode. On like a Haas, if you just hit clockwise, it'll go to whatever the last program speed was. Plenty of times you hit that not thinking that the last program speed was 2500 or something, and these things will just disintegrate. This bottom bolt will break and the whole thing will just come apart. Now they can be reassembled, but I'd say after you really destroy one, can you ever really trust it again? So we're going to get this thing set up, get the right stylus in here, get our speed dialed in on this old Bridgeport. We have to loosen this. This slides forward, then you can change the belt wherever you want, and you have to engage or disengage the high-low transmission by turning this and pulling this. So it's a little bit weird. Not one of the constant, velocity ones you just turn with the handle here. They have kind of a CV transmission in the head. This is old school, 1956. And this is, an early 60s Corvair head we're dealing with here. So I guess you could say it's some period correct machine work. So I'm gonna get this indicator put in here with this manual drawbar, no power drawbar here. Gotta use a wrench. I'm gonna go ahead and get her put in and kind of get it eyeballed over one of these holes, and we'll see how she goes.